because I've felt that feeling. You know, I've trained in the gyms with people. I've trained with Unveils in his old gym, Max Muscle. I've trained with Leroy Davis. I've trained with Jordan Peters. I've trained with Evan Senapani, Guy Sistanino, guys from the channel, Chris Tull. You know, all the people that I have a lot of respect for, and it's fucking motivating. Just here at Kojo's, Jordan's private gym. I've been meaning to put aside some time to go over like a brief video on what makes a good gym. It's taken a few weeks to kind of process. You know, the answer isn't as simple as the equipment you have, isn't as simple as the music you play. Is a perfect gym even one that has staff? This is a private place where no staff are here and you just come and train. To some people, that's a dream. I suppose before we answer this question from, you know, my point of view, I must highlight the fact that it's a very individual thing. And what floats one person's boat will not necessarily float another's. So let's try and answer this from a position that is like almost universal. There'll still be some people in the chat that are like, no, that's bullshit. So like one of those answers would be a clean gym. I know a lot of people, including myself, kind of like a bit of chalk and shit everywhere. It's not as simple as that. Depends what you want. First thing I will say is obviously equipment is very, very important, and variety of equipment. I like to be able to go in a gym and know that if I'm training a body part, a variation of what I want to do. And I don't mean every workout has to be something different, because it doesn't. I like doing the same workouts pretty much every workout. But as long as I can create a workout of what's available. So for example, I do a pull over, a pull down, and an arrow pull down. So those three will always be in there, and all you need for that is a cable. The next two movements, obviously, I do a row variation and then a high row variation. So that could be, give some context. So you could obviously do rows on this movement or this movement. We've got another low row over at the back that's like a not plate loaded, pin loaded. So there's so much variation. But I don't need all of that. The minimum of what allows me to get done is a must. I do think you do need some machines and some free weights. A gym that's just free weights for me would become a little bit mundane, just because I sometimes like to break up the training with some exercises that aren't on free weights. But then a gym without free weights would be a no-go. So that shows you how important free weights are for me, and for most people that have big dreams and big goals in bodybuilding, or powerlifting, or training in general. First and foremost, if it's a public gym, etiquette, and I mean etiquette between staff and members, but also members and members. One thing I really dislike is when you go in a gym and it's cliquey and that you feel unwelcome. Like if you go to a gym that's not in your regular, you know, location, you walk in there and it's almost like you're walking into a tribe and they don't welcome any outsiders. I'm good friends with quite a lot of people in the industry, and I remember specifically when we opened King's, Phil Lerney, who was a great educator, came to the gym, and the first thing I made sure is that I was available at the door to welcome him. You know, we had a conversation afterwards, and he said one thing I really did appreciate was that. So I've kind of learned that just making each member feel welcome to your facility is a really important thing. Just acknowledgement and just manners in general go a really, really long way. Number three, space. So space to move, you know, between equipment and whatnot. Like I love a gym that's packed with equipment for sure, but if there's no floor space and no way to maneuver. I used to train in a little tiny gym back in the day, and I loved it. And then I hit a point where I felt like a fish in a fishbowl. I felt like I couldn't get any bigger. We moved the gym equipment to a larger location, and I kid you not, just from having more space, I grew again. If that has no effect on you mentally, then obviously it's not going to be a benefit. But I think for me, I felt so constricted that I almost halted my progress. I remember like squatting and specifically squatting, and feeling like in that small space, there's no way I can put more weight in this bar than I already have. And then as soon as I moved into a larger gym, I was like, we can put more plates on in here, there's more room. Space is really, really important. And with space comes another thing, and that's light. I think light is really underrated in the gym. So ceiling panels, decent lighting, a shutter like we have here in Jordan's, and at the gym, actually, the gym we're opening, we have shutters. That light can never be beat by artificial light. You look at old videos of like Metroflex, Arlington, you know, Branch Warren, Johnny Jackson, and Ronnie Coleman training in there. Shutter up, loads of daylight coming in, loads of energy, loads of sweat, loads of blood, loads of tears. So airflow, light, space, like those are things that are so important. And those are things that you can't change later. You know, that's something that if you're looking for a gym, you'll know immediately whether it's there or not. And isn't it funny, because those things that are really important to me personally aren't even to do with people. They're just to do with like an aura and an energy. Aura and energy we carry over now. Obviously, I'm listening to some music, good quality music, good volume, but not a volume that's so loud that you can't hear yourself think or talk. I don't like when I'm in a gym and I'm training with someone and they can't hear me say one more rep or do you need a spot. Also, the thing with that music being really loud, it can be a little bit off-putting on your senses. And I found like if I'm doing heavy squats and stuff like that, I almost need to concentrate as much on my hearing as my feelings. When you know you've got like a lot of weight on the bar and it's dangerous, you want to be aware of your surroundings. So I personally like to have an ability to hear things going on around me just to make sure that no one's in a dangerous proximity or going to get hurt. Obviously, choice of music is really important as well. For me personally, I like stuff with emotion. I'm not into big screaming music, but I am into stuff like this that's kind of pop rock. I love hip hop. I love listening to Nas. You know, Nas just released 6 albums over the last 3 years that are all banging. I'm telling everyone to listen to them. King's Disease 1, 2, and 3, Magic 1, 2, and 3. And then the location of the gym, like actual locations, so outside, do you have space for parking? Is it easy to get to and commute to? Can public transport get people there? Weights. Having an efficient amount of weights and good quality ones as well. There's a lot of calibrated plates here. All actually weigh what they say. The worst thing you can do is go to a gym where every single weight plate is different. Believe me, I've seen it. I've got friends with gyms that still have it like that. But I don't like saying to them, but hopefully they get sorted eventually. And I understand because, you know, weight plates are actually one of the more expensive pieces of equipment you can get. But honestly, it makes a big difference, not just from like an aesthetic standpoint, but just knowing that you're lifting the same amount of load, you know. So that's all like the kind of cosmetic things and whatnot. Champions. I love a gym that's created champions. I love a gym that's got history. I love a gym that has a story. I love a gym that has bred the finest. I trained at Powerhouse, Connecticut, and I love going in there. I've been there a few times now. And I think of that gym as, you know, the home of Evan Centopani. I think of everything he's accomplished and the man, the myth, the legend, the blood, the sweat, tears, you know, in those particular 4 walls, even though there's more than 4 walls. And that's motivating as fuck. Like, going in a building where you know someone's been on a conquest to, you know, rule bodybuilding and sharing those kind of spaces with people like that. You know, that's what I kind of hope to create with the gym that me and Jordan are opening, is to create a space where people feel motivated by us. And because I've felt that feeling, you know, I've trained in the gyms with people. I've trained with Unveils in his old gym, Max Muscle. I've trained with him at Rotherham, his new gym. I've trained with Leroy Davis. I've trained with, you know, Jordan Peters. I've trained with Evan Centopani, Guy Sistanino, guys from the channel, Chris Tull, you know, all the people that I have a lot of respect for. And it's fucking motivating. So the story behind the gym is something that I feel like boosts it up by like 2-3 points, even if the gym's a shithole. Like Temple Gym, that was Dorian's gym, obviously, for a long time. And it was an absolute shithole. And everyone that's been there says it was legendary. And that's because the man created 6 Olympia physiques in there. It's priceless. Yeah, it's priceless. I used to love training with Luke Sander at Muscleworks Orpington, which is a gym that I trained at frequently in. That gym was starting to have that kind of energy, and it's such a shame that Luke passed, because I honestly feel like we would have had an Arnold Classic champion in there, and it would have really boosted the gym to what is already an incredible gym. But imagine the story of, you know, a young British lad winning the Arnold Classic and training in there. So, yeah, man, create a story, get passionate. Make the gym your fucking place and share that energy with a lot of other people. I'm in the middle of the back. I've just done my pull-down movements. Going to move on to some rows. But I thought, you know, what a nice setting to do a little video. Let me know what you think makes a good gym. Is there anything I missed? Is there, or am I just so focused on the things I mentioned? Perhaps that's my just opinion. Do you think a gym that sells food is better, sells supplements? Do you think there's other things that have to be there? You know, massage studios and all those kind of things? Swimming pool, like, you might be that guy. Me personally, none of those things really matter. I just care about the gym itself. And if I want to get any of those things done, I can outsource them. I do understand if that is something you think is really important. If you're a very busy person, you work trades, or you're, you know, running around like a headless chicken all day and you need to be able to prep food or get food, and a gym that sells food makes it convenient for you, totally get it. Totally get it. So let me know what you think makes a great gym. That is my most simple answer to what makes a great gym. And now I'm going to crack on with some more back and hopefully win the Arnold in March. So from myself at the AMA channel, please subscribe. Appreciate your time. I'm going to continue smashing in this lovely place, and we will catch up again very, very soon. Oh, and that's the leg room. I'll show you that next time.